Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to my channel. This is Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. Your subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Anybody that's interested in supporting me over on Patreon can feel free to go over to patreon.com, look up Engelgeist, choose a subscription level, and subscribe there. There are readings over there that are available only over there that come out at the first of the month. Also, you get to vote on deck polls as to which deck you'll see here in the live, or in the, not in the live, but in the daily forecast. And you do get your the daily forecast a day early. So it helps you to prepare for the day. You get a leg up on others. Anyways, um, where am I? I am a little cloudy this morning. It's okay. I'm going to get it together here. I've had my first cup of coffee, so I'm working on my second. But let's get started. Other ways you can support the channel. Follow me at Engelgeist333 on Instagram. You can like, share, comment, or uh, uh, like and share the videos out. That always, you never know who might see them. Share them to groups that you belong to or on your personal page on Facebook. That would be great. Comment on them, ask questions, give me suggestions. I always love that sort of stuff. That kind of interaction helps also. Or you could subscribe to either my business channel or sorry, a little crossing my wires, my business page on Facebook or my YouTube channel on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so that you do get notified when I go live. I do card pulls and things like that. So, or like, when I go live for the monthly Taroscopes, those half are up. The first half of the Zodiac I did last night. I did all of the water signs and the fire signs. The water signs are, there's one little glitch with the water signs. Cancer didn't load. There was just a problem with Cancer. Definite Mercury retrograde shit. But, so Cancer is available. It's over the course of 3 small videos on my YouTube page. So you have to watch part 1, part 2, part 3 to get all of Cancer. Sorry about that, guys. But that's just what happened. My internet was being very spotty. So, hopefully today I will put out more. If I feel so inclined, I will try and get at least one sign, one element out, like Earth. And if I can do all 6, I will do Earth and Air today and get it done before July is upon us. July is almost upon us, quite frankly. So this is for the week. This is our Sunday reading, right, which is for June 28th. This is also, we do on Sundays a couple of extra cards to show the underpinning energy of the week. So this not only represents Sunday, but it also represents the setup for what we might be experiencing throughout the week coming, so between June 28th to July 4th, right? Oh wow, so we're ending this week on a bang. This will be interesting to see what happens on the cards. If you're watching this and it's not those dates, this is a timeless message, so do not fret. There might be something in here that you're ready to hear, so you don't have to turn it off. I always trust that Spirit kind of gets the message to us when we most need it. So we also will be having a deck transfer in the middle of this week. We'll be switching decks after the 30th. And I've got to get a poll up for the next deck choices. I haven't really done that. I was kind of hoping that the Grimalkin would make it here in time, but I don't think it's going to. So I may have to just go with a third deck of a different choosing. All right, so let's get into the cards and let's see, what do we need to know? What does the greater collective need to know for their highest good for the 28th through the 4th of July? Okay, so our first card is, each card sort of represents, sort of a few days in the week. So just kind of, allow for that flexibility. Nothing is set in stone. You may experience one of these cards, or you might experience all of these cards and then some more that I don't even pull, right? But this is sort of to give you guys a little bit of a perspective of what's going on. So this is the Ten of Swords. So this is karmic lessons and only upwards. That's really interesting. Shit. Okay. Ten of Swords is usually like great pain, kind of betrayal. In traditional tarot decks, you'll see it sort of with that man laying on his stomach with all of those swords in his back. I like that this says karmic lessons. To me, that's sort of interesting. Swords is the element of air and the intellect, right? When I look at this card, what it makes me think of is there's some definite defense happening. All of those swords, like pointed outward out into the world, feels like we might have our guards up at the beginning of the week. We might be sort of feeling a little bit extra on edge. We might be feeling a little bit sort of like we need to protect ourselves or keep ourselves safe. And I don't mean this in a bad way. It just sort of feels like we may be thinking about things quite a bit, looking at things from many different perspectives. That could be the 10 of the 10 aspect of this. Tens also represent sort of that's the completion of cycles. The snake up above to me is interesting too, because snake medicine to me sort of speaks to this idea of, I mean, it could also be betrayal or something snaky, something not to be trusted, but snakes are not always bad either. Snakes can represent transmutation or the taking of something bad, maybe an experience that hurt us, harmed us, or maybe wasn't exactly the most ideal situation that we wanted to deal with, and be able to sort of like take it, ingest it, and transmute it into something else, right? Snake also sheds its skin, and sometimes ten of swords with the closing of the experience through the aspect of being a 10 says to me that we might be just sort of outgrowing situations, right? We might find ourselves outgrowing relationships, outgrowing, jobs, or just different situations around us that we no longer want to maybe give our mental attention to. And that might be the sort of this idea of karmic lessons and only upwards. It might be, things can only get better from here. So if those of you are having a rough beginning of the week, that's okay. It's sort of the feeling that I'm getting. This Ten of Swords says to me that it's all right. Sort of rally the troops, or gather your swords around you, and sort of make yourself feel a little bit as secure as you can while you go through this sort of rough patch. Um, there is there is a shedding here. There's an opportunity to sort of maybe know yourself a little bit better. There's an opportunity to sort of heal yourself in this card. There's an opportunity to sort of feel also, I believe, hopefully, empowered further in the week. We're going to see what the cards have to say. To me, this card feels a bit defensive with these 10 swords like wrapped around in this circle, right? It kind of feels like back off to me, the energy of this card. But um, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I feel like this doesn't feel like, in traditional Ten of Swords, that it's such a tragic image that man has all of those swords in his back. And this doesn't feel that way to me. This almost feels like we're almost gathering our thoughts and pointing them outward and kind of protecting ourselves, maybe from something that harmed us or didn't necessarily work out the way we wanted it to. And in doing so, it does have this positive idea of only upwards, meaning like things can only get better. You once you hit rock bottom, you have to sort of bounce back. So keeping that in mind in the early part of the week, if you are feeling a little stressed out, if you are feeling aggravated, if you are caught up in your head, if you are feeling distrustful of others, all of that stuff can be this sort of Ten of Swords energy. But tens also represent that sort of completion. So we are coming to like almost, what's the word? Like next level realization, if that makes sense, growth in some way. That is also the karmic lesson that's being taught here. It's something that we're no longer like willing to put up with. We're no longer allowing to have happen to us. We're no longer allowing, maybe a situation or a person or something in our lives take hold the way that it maybe normally has and caused us upset or distress in the past. All right, let's see what's going on in the midweek. Okay, so the midweek is the Dawn of Rings. I love how it says Dawn of Rings. It makes me think of like a drag name, Dawn of Rings. Get it, Dawn of Rings? Okay, so we have this vulnerable naked woman, and Rings is the Pentacles, and this would be similar to like the Page of Pentacles, I believe, the Dawn of Rings. So to me, I feel like, look at that mountain range behind her. She's been through some shit, this chick. Her words are reflection and diligence. And I feel like she ties into this Ten of Swords energy, right? I feel like she is the softening of this Ten of Swords energy. I feel like she is connecting with the earth. I feel like she is sort of connecting and grounding herself into sort of her accomplishments. Excuse me. The Dawn of Rings is like, to me, a page, right? Where a page is a youthful person or a youthful, so a message bearer, a room for learning, room for study, that sort of a thing. So with this Dawn of Rings, to me, this is like the Page of Pentacles. It's kind of like learning where we are in the world now, right? Where we fit in the world, how we fit in that world, where we ground in that world, how we keep ourselves protected. There is a certain amount of vulnerability in this card. Like, I feel like she might feel vulnerable. She might feel like she doesn't know exactly how to move forward. But I do feel like she's working on learning that. It does feel to me that um, and let me say this too, this Ten of Swords may not be something that's currently happening to us. This Ten of Swords could be memories of old stuff that used to get our goat, right? Or of old memories that situations that haunted us for a long time. The Dawn of Rings to me feels like this Page of Pentacles that is learning how to free herself or free themselves from this burden. That's these mountain ranges that we have in the background, right? That's these sort of like, hills that we used to climb over and over again, maybe in our thoughts that we don't necessarily need to climb anymore. She is holding this ring in her hand, meaning like I feel like she's sort of got her eyes on the prize. She may even have sort of the prize or the awareness within her. And through diligence and hard work, and reflection, she finds out better where she stands in her world, right? There's further definition for us or further awareness of where we stand, better understanding of what we deserve and how we deserve it. Does that make sense? I also love that she's naked in the sense that it feels way less defensive than this Ten of Swords. So by midweek, I feel like there's a softening where we're allowing ourselves to feel less on guard, to be more like grounded in ourself, feeling vulnerable, feeling aware and able to reflect on things that are in the past, these mountain ranges, things that we've maybe dealt with, and almost release them to a degree, to start new or to start to learn, new ways of being in the world as it exists today. Now, the third card. Oh, this is new to me. What is this? Oh my god, it's the fucking Devil card. Okay, I believe this is the Devil. It's called the Shadow. I've never seen this card before, but this is dependence and materialism. So, this is by the end of the week. This would be our July 4th card. I look at this and I feel like some of us are struggling back and forth. Whatever we're fighting with at the beginning of the week or whatever we're protecting ourselves with at the beginning of the week, be careful by week's end that we're not letting it back in. This dependence and materialism, this idea of this sort of devil, right, is maybe our shadow side for those of us personally, right? The Dawn of Rings is about that diligence and that introspection, right? She's going internally into herself, sort of grounding into the earth energy, feeling her being aware, being vulnerable, trying to find her answers. The devil could be our ego, right? The devil could also represent somebody outside of us that, like, sort of is somebody that causes us stress, causes us, not that, I don't want to put like the blame on an outside person, right? If we allow them to cause us stress, it's our fault, really, because they cause us stress. We have to do something to protect ourselves, right? Um, but to me, when I look at this devil card, it feels like some of you, this could be our own weaknesses, our own troubles coming back to haunt us a little bit, especially like with the July 4th weekend going on. Maybe some of us are partying a little bit too much. That would be sort of this indulgence part of, or dependence part. The devil usually represents areas where we need work, where we're not necessarily willing to look at. I feel like, though, it's interesting because the Dawn of Rings feels like, with this introspection of the Dawn of Rings, she is willing to look. We were willing to look in the middle of the week, but then we maybe lose sight of it by week's end. Or we're back dealing with this same situation that might have been causing us pain at the beginning of the week, which is the Ten of Swords. It makes me wonder sort of what devils do we need to slay? And this is weird because devil was really prominent in the Pisces reading, and I would think it was prominent in, was it Aries? And this would be the beginnings of July by this point. This would be July 4th. So, I mean, the devil doesn't stress me out in the sense that it's just something that is challenging to us. The thing that the shadow represents here is that this card could be us. This could be a side of ourselves we don't want to deal with, that we don't want to look at. That causes us pain. Like, in some ways, it's almost more easy to sort of look at the outside world or blame the outside world. That's sort of like this hand, right, with all the jewelry on it. I feel like, this is us like sort of looking at the outside world and going, oh my God, look at how fucked everything. It's all their fault. That's why I feel miserable. But really what's going on is that there's something going on inside of us that's really what's not allowing us to feel right. And that might surface or really start to bug us, show us, challenge us by week's end. I get a feeling with this devil, because he's sort of facing this way into the future, I feel like he might be hanging out for a minute for some of us. I feel like he looks like he's looking to, like, I swear to God, I feel like he's snickering and going like, okay, that's fine. I'm here now. It's the end of the week, and I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna challenge you into next week and maybe beyond until we're ready to deal with this. Does that make sense? So be prepared. Now, this reading may not be for everybody. This might only just be for a select few. But those select few that are dealing with this stuff, to me, this looks like coming to this awareness or this understanding of self, and what maybe you need through introspection and diligence is going to be key. This Dawn of Rings is going to be the thing that sort of, I almost feel like she's not, it's like we need to sort of learn this stuff. We need to learn how to ground in this stuff. We need to learn to how not to allow this stuff to sort of get under our skin, because the shadow wants to get under our skin. This devil card wants to, like, sort of force us to look at things. It's so strange to me. All right, let's see what the Starseed Oracle has to say. Okay, portal. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards. It's a wild card. How are we going to choose to handle this, guys? It looks like the devil wants to go in that portal with us. I mean, I'm just being honest. That's sort of the sense that I'm getting, is it feels like if we can't sort of change our ways, if we can't sort of figure out Um, I just almost want to say, like, if we can't figure out sort of what we want to take with us and what we don't, if we step through this portal, we're sort of like making decisions or changes, choices, and this might only be for a select few of you, but we're making choices and changes that could, you know, how do I want to say this, like, forever alter our situation. That's my feeling. Like, this portal could offer us freedom, or it could enslave us in a way, weird way. And it's like our choice. What a weird reading. All right. Let me see what the ground is. Remember, we're going to be dealing with this like throughout the entirety of the week, right? So, um, uh, this is energy that we're going to be sort of like working with for the entire week. So this portal could be available to us all week long as we choose, as we make choices to move forward. The grounding stone is on Tiger's Eye, and it is forgive, and it is falling over because it's drunk, because it's the devil. All right, so forgive. Where can we forgive ourselves, especially in that Ten of Swords energy? That's also that idea of that introspection in the Dawn of Wands or the Dawn of Discs, Rings, whatever, Pentacles. Where can we forgive ourselves? Where can we give ourselves sort of credit, peace? Where can we forgive others? You know, what situations have we been harmed in that we're still carrying with us that still sort of haunt us, like with this shadow or this devil energy, right? Is there situations that happen to us that we carry with us that we believe? Like, I'm just going to use myself as an example. My, I have sort of kind of hard lessons that I dealt with as a kid, and there's a part of that's true, and it defines a little bit of who I am, and it makes it hard for me to trust other people, right? But I'm also now 47, and so there's this part of me that has to um, realize that I can't live by those laws, right? Or those beliefs, or else they're going to not serve me any longer. They're going to only allow me to sort of distrust others and limit my ability to experience things, right? And so, can I forgive those situations? Can I forgive those scenarios? Can I release myself from those things? And those could be, my own personal devil or shadow side that believes that like people are untrustworthy, or that anyone who loves you is going to hurt you. That might be the portal that I need to sort of create and walk through or change. And I'm just talking about that from my own personal experience, because I need an example to sort of apply these cards to, so that you guys can figure out what it is in your lives, where it is that you sort of might have things hiding in the shadows that might be limiting you. They could be actual people outside of you, right? They could be actual pain in the ass boyfriends or bosses or whatever, but they could also just be aspects of self or beliefs that we carry that are like attached to wounds that are so deep that if we don't release them, and if we don't make the choice to let them go and walk through this sort of portal or this doorway into a new set of beliefs and reality, and forgive ourselves and those situations, we might be stuck in that for God knows how long. That is your forecast for the day, guys. I hope that makes sense. I mean, for the week. I hope that makes sense. I feel like we're gonna have to watch how the cards build this week. It's really interesting because Definite changes are afoot. I don't like how that devil's looking at that portal at all. I'm gonna be honest, I just don't like it. All right, that's your forecast for the day. I will talk to you later and see you guys tomorrow as we build upon this. Please check out your tarot scopes. Please give me a like, share, comment, and subscribe on all my videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you guys. Take care. I will see you guys all soon. All right, bye-bye.